Hey guys, I'm Sarah Beth and welcome back to my channel. To kick off the Yoga for Sore Wrists series, I want to talk about a couple of tips that I have for you on how you can heal your wrists, how you can strengthen your wrists, proper hand posture on the mat, etc. So stay tuned. First, let's start with yogi hands. This is something I talk about in a lot of my classes, especially when I see that the majority of the students in the class aren't gripping their mat properly. Yogi hands means that you're fanning your fingers out nice and wide and then gripping into the mat using all of your hands. So you're gripping into the mat using the pads of your fingers, the pad between your pointer finger and your thumb. And that way you're not just jamming the heel of your hand into the mat. My hand looks giant when I put it up front like that. You don't want to jam the heel of your hand into the mat, and that's the mistake a lot of people make, is they're not paying attention to how they're grounding down to their hands. We spend how much of our life learning how to walk on our feet properly, and then we just slap our hands on the mat and think nothing of it until later on when it's like, oh my gosh, my wrist hurt. So make sure you're using strong yogi hands every single time you're on the mat, whether you're in tabletop, whether you're in high plank, whether you're in down dog, especially in high plank and down dog. This foundation in your hands is like the first place to start in your yoga practice. And if that's not strong, then half your postures where you have weight in your hands aren't going to be strong either, because that is the foundation of your house, essentially. If you do plan on moving on to like arm balances, handstands, and inversions and all of that, strong hands, strong forearms, and strong wrists is key. So make sure that you work on those yogi hands. Go into down dog like you normally would, and then look at your hands and how do they look? If they're cupping like they're Barbie hands on the mat, or your fingers are glued together like Barbie hands, you're not distributing your weight properly. So fan those fingers out, grip into the mat, press into the pads underneath your fingers, and feel the weight distribute through your hand. And that's going to strengthen your hand. It'll help support your wrist. And if you're doing it properly, you're going to feel your forearms get stronger as well. We already talked about getting a strong foundation in your hands and how you can build the strength in your hands. But moving on to the forearm, if you're way too tight in your forearms, it could be causing you a lot of strain in your wrists. So if you're someone who has this strained wrist problem frequently, then this might be something you want to look at, opening up the forearms. And you can do that yourself with self-massage, rolling out your own forearms with your forearms, or you can self-massage with myofascial tools. Like I use the rad roller, and I'll place my forearm onto the rad roller, place the bone right into the divot so that the balls are pressing into the muscles and just kind of get into those muscles and get into the fascia. And that helps open up. It feels really good. It helps open up some of the muscles and fascia that might be holding on to my wrist. If you're not interested in doing the work yourself, opening up your forearms, you can always see some professionals. Like a chiropractor can help you open up your wrists and unlock wrists. Acupuncturists can throw some needles into your arms or wherever they decide is the best for you to get that strain out of your wrists. Physical therapists or massage therapists, these are all people that you can work with and describe like your issues to, and they might be able to give you some suggestions as well. When your wrists are flared up, rest. If your wrists hurt, rest. Don't put weight in your hands when your wrists are already strained. It's only going to make it worse. I feel like I have to repeat that one. Don't put weight in your hands when your wrists hurt, okay? Because it's only going to make it worse. It's inflammation that's happening here, and the only way that that's going to go away is by you resting and not straining them even further. And you'll learn this soon enough. If you didn't actually hear me when I said that, you're gonna learn it when you're on your mat and your wrists hurt in a practice and you think, okay, I'll just keep going, and then they hurt worse the next day. And it doesn't get better until you finally say, I'm done. And you don't put any strain on your hands and wrists. And then your wrists are gonna heal and they'll get better. And from there, you can work your way up with modified practices. So my personal practice, when my wrists flare up, I do my best not to put weight in my hands. Like, I do my best not to put weight in down dog. I do my best not to do down dog, not to do high planks. I'll come down to my forearms instead. If for down dog, go to child's pose instead. Don't do handstands, definitely like side planks and all of that is back on the forearms. Whatever you can do to rest your hands because you want them to heal faster so you can get back to your practice, so you can heal your body. So rest and modify your practice as much as you can. And then when you are feeling better and your wrists are feeling better again, they're not hurting, they're not strained, then go back into your practice, but be mindful and be cautious. So when you do go back into your practice, maybe start with the modifications, and then the next day or the day after, you can start working your strength back up. Because even if your core is super strong, even if your arms are super strong, if your wrists aren't, that's your foundation, and your high plank on your hands isn't gonna get you very far because your wrists are gonna be the first one to go. Rest, modify, be mindful, and take it easy on your body. Don't play with pain, all right? This is your body's way of telling you there's something wrong. Those are just a few tips for if you have strained wrists. Rest if they're strained. Modify as much as you can when you come back. Modify during a practice if you are starting to feel like you're getting strained, because you don't want to play with pain. Work your forearms as much as you can. You can do that with self-massage, or you can go to a professional like a chiropractor, acupuncturist, massage therapist, or physical therapist. Make sure you're distributing weight evenly and properly through your hands every single time you put weight into your hands on the mat. And it's something that you have to pay attention to the first few times you do it. But like a bicycle, you start to almost build that mental muscle to just go onto the mat with those strong yogi hands. There are different routines, different postures that you can use to help accelerate this wrist healing process. So keep an eye out for the next couple of weeks for this wrist series for the 3 yoga poses for sore wrists, a healthy wrists warm-up routine, a wrist-free yoga practice, and more. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for new uploads every Friday. Leave your questions and comments down below in the comment section, and please click that like button if you found this video useful. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next week.